XBlades is just one of those games that you have in your Steam library if you don't have a super duper new account, if you're a weeb. Mostly because it went on sale extremely cheap all the time. It came out at a time where anime games on PC were quite rare. Nowadays it's a big mistake not to also launch a game on Steam, but back then it was like how the Japanese borders were closed off for so long. Nobody wanted to put their games onto Steam, and even afterwards there were lots of shitty ports. I'm sure big publishers and devs don't do such a thing anymore though. They would never do that. It's weird how a little game such as Vanserchan changed that. It's even the very first game I bought on Steam digitally. My account is from 2005, but I pretty much just play Counter-Strike 1.6 and Source. So in a way, young me who went to the store to buy a passive card because I was still too young for PayPal helped to pave the way for more Japanese games on Steam and on the PC in general. Imagine if we would still be stuck with games for life or anything like that. I really don't want to be a bootlicker for Steam because in the end it's still a big corp, but it could have went way worse if any other company built themselves a monopoly like Steam. But what did you do before all the real anime stuff came to Steam? Just keep playing stuff on your console? No, you wanted to play on your cool PC because you just upgraded to a GTX 260. So any kind of anime was fine for you. If you see this lady, you might think, wow, she's well kinda anime, so let me check out her game. The outfit also helps with that, and the pose. It's a hack and slash, even if it tries to be a super duper cool action character game, even though I hate that kind of name. It's as meaningless as action adventure. Yeah, it fits games like Zelda really well, but some Tetris games have an adventure mode and are also full of action, and you wouldn't call that it, right? Mario has some action in it, and he's a character, so he's just like Dante, surely. Not like it matters because people who play games like Devil May Cry 3 or God Hand would drop this game after maybe half an hour. Unless you are a big fan of Devil May Cry 2, then this might be the perfect fit for you. You got dual blades, but also a gun. That makes you feel like you're playing Tomb Raider, and I have to say I love it. When I was young and played those games, I loved to just jump around with those dual pistols and having unlimited ammo and shooting anything with them. That's all I kinda did because those games have filtered me hardcore when I was young. But despite the first Tomb Raider coming out 13 years earlier, it got the better animations. The dual pistols are not the only thing that's like Tomb Raider because our cool MC called Ayumi is also a Tomb Raider. A really cheeky one at that because she's always happy to drop some cool lines against bosses only though.
Wer sagt das? Ich habe eine lange Reise hierher gemacht und werde nicht einfach gehen.
I'm not the biggest fan of characters talking too much, but I wouldn't have minded it here because the German dub voice of her is really cute and makes the character better for me. I have no idea how she sounds in English and I never want to find it out because it might just ruin it for me. I don't like hearing anime girls talk in English and never will. It made me Google her voice actress and it amazed me how it wasn't just some no-name but actually a really big one because she was the German voice for Miley Cyrus or Jessica Alba and also voiced characters like Sarah from Hellsing, Lena from Slayers or one of my favorite Brads, Saya from High School of the Dead. I may have to watch those German dubs from these shows after hearing her. Her voice makes me ovulate. As a guy. So she's raiding a tomb where an ancient evil is hidden and the fairy is telling us to just go home, and I would take his warning, but since Ayumi is a brat she won't take no for no and just touches it anyways to get enveloped by the gloop. The Blob, the A-Boy and his Blob remake are also World of Goo. That's only 3 games but still, and all of them were big on the Wii. Maybe that was supposed to be a message. So you go through lots of fairly okay looking corridors to fight enemies, more enemies, more enemies and even more enemies while enjoying Ayumi's backside. And I have to be honest, back in the day I watched tons of anime just because of hot girls being in them. It was easy to get my attention because of it, and nowadays it's a bit of the same, just not to that extreme anymore. Because I value my time, sometimes. If I tried watching Heaven's Property now as a grandpa, I would probably drop it after 1-3 episodes because I do not remember it being really fun to watch, but I did it for the boobs. Who could blame young me? For me, anime was always about cuteness and beauty to a degree. Something that can be found in real life too, but not to the extreme of anime. Name me some ugly anime girls. You pretty much can't unless they are borderline meant to look as grotesque as possible, like Big Mama from One Piece. I really had to hold myself back from doing a your mom joke because I do not like insulting people. I prefer getting insulted. The biggest example would be Watamote, right? A manga that was about a shy and somewhat shitty girl that just wanted friends in her own school but is too antisocial to get them, and now every single girl in it wants to scissor with her, so I dropped it a while ago because it became too boring. Sure, it would have eventually also gone boring if she never changed and stayed as a loser with only one friend that mocks her in every department, but it was funny. Have you ever actually heard someone call her ugly outside of her own manga though? Probably not, because she's cute. Or this girl from that one spider anime, where everyone in her class called her creepy and weird, but then she's this cute, you can't take it seriously. It even goes for the guys. You can probably name a few more ugly guys than girls, but even then, they most of the time look pretty okay, at least to me. Or they're meant to look funny while being ugly, but never just ugly. Like the main character from Axel World, who is tiny and fat, but in a cute way. Daru from Steins Gate would look terrible in real life with that haircut, probably. Obviously, there's some exceptions to this rule too though, like him. I still feel bad for what happened to him though. The only anime where I ever saw a guy that made me think he would be nobody's hear me out is from Perfect Blue. I won't even say more about it or even show him, because you just go watch it if you have never watched it, but then you can't call yourself a fan of anime if you never saw Perfect Blue. You will easily recognize who I mean. So the point I was trying to make it is that hot characters are neat in an anime sense. They just make sense to be hot. Doesn't mean this also has to go for realistic games. If I play a realistic game, it kinda makes sense for most people to look like normal people, I think. It's one of those big topics nowadays, isn't it? Oh no, this game has no hot girls in it, I won't buy it. Or whoa, this game has too many big boob bimbos, I will not play it, and call everyone who plays it a gooner. A word I hate a lot, because same with Kuma. A word that was also fairly fresh, but then people just switched to Guna, even though no, the real goons like these guys can't really be called Gunas anymore, or Arsenal fans. Ayumi is hot and also was meant to be the main hook for you to play this game. How many people have looked at her and thought, maybe I should check out this game? Way more people than the ones who have looked up the gameplay of it. Something that looks pretty gets our interest more than things that look ugly, most of the time. There's obviously always exceptions. If someone gives you the choice of picking a partner with perfect looks and a perfect personality, or a partner with ugly looks and a perfect personality, why would they go for the ugly one? It's just how it is. The world is shallow like that. Looks do matter in real life but also in fiction. In the end, the worst thing someone can be is to be ugly on the inside. Ugly people can be ugly on the inside, but also pretty people can be ugly on the inside. We all have opened social media before and thought, wow, this person is not very cute. You can go against what your brain tells you. But you know what you can do? Keeping it to yourself. You do not need to tell someone they're ugly if you think they're ugly. That makes you uglier. The longer you play the game, the more you will think why. The same kind of why you might have just asked yourself when you listen to that rant. It makes you feel like a masochist. Were those $5 you paid for XBlades really worth it? Do you need to get the full potential out of them by beating the game? Wouldn't you be better off just refunding it? But no, you keep going just to get hit over and over by even more bad design decisions. The worst one of them is picking up this armor set, because now you're almost fully dressed up. It may give you better defensive stats, but is it worth it if it comes at the cost of not being able to see Ayumi in her sexy outfit anymore? No, it's not. But here's the kicker, you can't change it back. You are stuck with it till the end of the game. In any other game you would have an option to take it off. That does not exist here. Just like how I wish this shitty Google AI would not exist, because it just lies straight to your face, and if you ever see someone believe this thing or ChatGPT, you can rightfully call them an idiot. Not to say they can't also get stuff right, but sometimes it just lies to you, and that's not okay. I already have my wife to do that. It told me you can go to the diary screen to change the outfit here, but you can only rewatch cutscenes here. If you type in the question again, it will tell you to go to an equipment screen that does not exist, or it will just show you how to change your outfit in a completely unrelated game. Do not trust anything this Dumbo tells you, and always scroll down to find answers on Reddit or GameFAQs or anywhere else. Then there's this point where I thought I softlocked myself when loading the game after taking a little break here. You get into a little cutscene where you get imprisoned into a tiny room with spikes that you have to dodge. This part goes on a bit too long, but hey, at least it's something different, so when you survive it, which you will, if you actually die here, then well, that would be embarrassing, you gotta battle some more enemies and all that. I had enough of this game for a bit because I was hungry and was eating dinner first, so afterwards I loaded myself and I couldn't get back in. There was no way to open anything anymore. So I killed all the ghosts because I thought it would open up the gates, but nope, still stuck. Till I realized this room had no way to go forward anymore. You could only go back, and that's what you were supposed to do. This makes me sound stupid as hell, and maybe I am stupid, and I think there's at least a couple of other people that thought they got softlocked here. It shows you though that it's possible to go back to areas you already been to, and it's kinda important for something later. Very important. The next big one is, you can find scrolls in the levels and they make you pay half the price of skills and upgrades for your gun, but you can't choose for what you want to use it. In any other game, you can keep buying stuff for its normal price before thinking, yep, too expensive, let me use my discount. Nope, You have to spend it on your next spell, and spells are really important in this game because sometimes you can't progress without one. Later ones can cost like 9 million souls, and you think you will never get that much, but later levels shower you in souls, so no worries about that. But it feels bad to spend your scroll on a spell that's only like 20k at the beginning. Why can't I choose which spell I want to use the scroll on? Why do I have to use it the next time I buy something? Many enemies can only be defeated with the white spell. Like if you see blue souls flying around, shoot fireballs at them. If the souls are red, shoot ice arrows at them, you get the drill. To use spells, you need rage that you can get by red crystals, hitting enemies, or by sticking the left analog stick in. Or by getting yourself hit, and with the other armor it's almost the best way to get it because it's the fastest one. Aside from destroying the red crystals, but they need a bit to spawn again, or you stand around and slowly build rage with your charge, or just get hit because they barely deal damage anyways. Till the game decides, okay, now we spawn enemies you can build it on. Also, these spiders before were able to be killed with normal attacks. Now at the end they suddenly teleport around, and if you come too close, they teleport away and you need to kill them with lightning. But why now? The game really loves to just drop random attributes onto enemies you already fought before, so you have to waste your time to try to shoot anything at it till you found something that works. And sometimes they just throw it back at you, like if you shoot them with ice, they throw the ice at you, so you are frozen. The funniest of them was this normal enemy that they just made 5 times bigger and told you to kill him with a special skill you unlock by collecting enough medals. That make you think, what if I never got this skill? In almost every level, you can find some artifacts that either upgrade your melee attacks, gun attacks, or air attacks. For this skill you needed at least 9 medals for the gun skills, because only after you collect 3 it makes a full medal to upgrade your level. What if someone never found enough and entered this room? They would have to just go backtrack and try to find some more to get the skill. If that ever happened to me, I would just quit. I said this is funny, and you probably wondered what's funny about this, but it's right before the final boss. A tiny little room with just one enlarged enemy that you have killed 1000 times before as a tiny little fella that you can't kill if you didn't explore enough right before the end. Then there's this boss where you have to defeat his little minions or else you can't damage him, but you have to defeat all of them at the same time or else he respawns one of them so fast already that no fireball will be able to land. So you need a spell that can do that, so you think your little earthquake that so far has done the job will be enough, but no, it sucks out too much of your rage, so you can't do any fireballs after unless you destroy a red crystal right after and then spam it, and it's also not strong enough to kill them in one hit anyways. And this boss can only be hit with fireballs when everyone is dead. There's an ice crystal in the arena that turns the enemies into ice, but the range of it is not enough to really get all of them, so you let some of them stay inside the ice while killing the others, and you think, yay, now I can damage him, but think again, he already respawned them. The respawn timer is way too low for this kind of mechanic. The best thing you can do is buying the ice flower that has a big range and freezes all of them, so you got enough time to spam the fireballs. It costs 380k souls though, so what now? This is where it comes in handy that you can just leave the boss and farm souls, because you can just go anywhere you want. Luckily the room right before the boss room is easy enough to gather those souls you need to buy it. So I have to applaud the game for allowing you to just walk out of a boss arena. Normally that's not possible, right? Otherwise I would have quit the game because I would have not had the patience to farm souls with the tiny guys to buy the spell. Actually I could have just loaded an earlier save if that happened, but hey. I like it when bosses need specific strategies, but every single boss in this game makes your normal weapons useless. You always have to just spam certain spells on them, where you kill the little goons to gather rage and then use it to hurt the boss. And the animations can't be skipped. Not like using normal blades feels that good either, because nothing you do matters. Slashing so many enemies does not feel good because they do not give any kind of feedback that makes you think it's fun to attack. They just take it and die, and you don't even have to try to do any combos because it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is hitting the enemy often enough without getting hit yourself to get the style meter go up to gain more souls. A style meter without any style. You know what they say, he has no grace, he has no style. That would describe the game really well. I also stumbled upon an optional room that gives you a scroll. You do not need to beat this room, maybe one of the only good choices that devs have made, because there's these blades coming from the ceiling and you think, oh, I use my teleportation skill. No, it will kill you even if it clearly didn't. Oh, then I use my go fast skill. Look, it works. No, it will kill you even if it clearly didn't. What you have to do is to use a row that the game does not teaches you about. All you have to do is press forward twice and then the jump button. Sounds easy, right? No, it's not for whatever reason. Why would you program it this way, that it's only possible to get through in this specific way? You can Google how many people had problems with this move. A move that should be easy, but it just isn't. The timing of pressing forward and then the jump button. I don't know why it would be so hard. Why is it this hard? It should be easy as hell, but it's not, I assure you. Also, I got the bad end, but for me it's actually the good end because the power of darkness takes over some dude where I already forgot his name. I actually didn't forget his name, but I don't want to say it out loud, and you have to kill him. You did not know this guy before the game started, and he saved you from the womb with all of those spikes, and there's no chemistry whatsoever between them. Ayumi has better banter with the werewolf guys, and let's hope that bestiality in her world isn't banned. Even though werewolves can give consent, I guess, since they talk here and all that. Did you know that 90% of women wouldn't mind dating a werewolf? So if you're a hairy guy, there's a chance for you. So you kill him and she cries about him, but it just leaves the door open for yourself. I don't want Ayumi to date this guy because he's lame. So the bad end is the anti-NTR player end because you can just imagine spending your whole life with her instead, since there's no more love interest left. To get the good ending, you don't need to play through the same game again on a harder difficulty, but instead never ever buy any dark spells. Do you think I played through it again to get that ending? No, just YouTube it. I didn't even do that because for me the bad end is the canon one. I respect the game for doing it this way though. It's not just some lame choice to pick from at the end or picking the harder difficulty, but instead you are to blame for it, right? The evil glue that took her over is dark and evil, and everyone tells you to not be evil, and dark spells are mostly for evil people, right? So it kinda gives you a hint to not buy them in that way. Something only a game can do. Imagine watching The Godfather and suddenly he decides to be the good father, so you have to buy another DVD to see that ending where he becomes the nice guy because otherwise you only see him being bad and all that. In any other way, I do not respect the game, because it does not respect you either, because nothing ever really clicks that makes you think, yep, this even had a foundation for a good game. The levels are pretty lame and you have to play through every stage twice because halfway through the game, they decide, everything is falling apart, everything is crumbling, go escape, and then it just turns evening so it has different lightning with nothing new added to the stages. The bosses are just slash goons and fill the bar to spam spells. The normal enemies are just hit one button without any combos or shoot them by pressing one single button and keep pressing it harder than as if you were on the toilet and fighting for your life. The music is pretty okay though, and everything bad I said about the game is forgiven, because could a game that has this kind of music as its main menu theme be really bad? No. Maybe I was too harsh on the game because I still can't believe they won't give you back Ayumi's normal outfit. My biggest reason for finally checking out the game after it was in the depths of unplayed Steam games for such a long time. I even got the HD upgrade to see her ass in full HD, but they took it away from me. In the end, I would not recommend this at all, unless maybe one day Gaijin Entertainment makes a remake of this game where they fix all of these issues. Come on, they make a lot of money from War Thunder, so they can spend some on Ayumi, right? At least she wouldn't need government documents about top secret tanks and planes, I think. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video and will have a good day, a good night, or whatever fits your time zone. In a different timeline, Ayumi could have been the Eve of the modern gaming world, but she was too ahead of her times. In a way, I wish they would just switch places because Eve has zero personality whatsoever, so she would fit more into XBlades than Stellar Blade, while Ayumi deserves the pretty good gameplay from Stellar Blade instead of Eve. I will now learn how to mod so I can make it happen. Bye bye.